delayed by an hour and a half, and I was already arriving at about 8 o'clock, and my rental car pickup was for 9 p.m. So I don't know if I get there any later if my rental car will be ready. Also, I have to drive like an hour away from the airport to the hotel to be able to do my shift for Monday. It's about an hour or so away from the airport. So if I miss my rental pickup, then that's going to delay me for getting to the hotel late at night. B11. I just got to Washington, D.C. and this is the creepiest thing ever. It's nobody in here. Let me hurry and get to this rental car. Alright, y'all. I told you all these numbers. This is my car number. C11. It's a little mini coupe. Oh, this is cute. This is so cute. I am so glad I did not do the upgrade. She's like, oh my gosh. She's like, do you want to do the upgrade for $100? You can get a Benz. I said, don't worry about it. And I'm glad I didn't, because this one is cute and new. I am still shocked that this is literally 11. Now it is too late. I don't even know how to start this car. I'm tired. I am exhausted. I feel like I'm in the fifth element. I can't even start this car up. What? Okay, let me see. I have to go get the people. I just put in GPS, the hotel destination. I will get there at 12:22. This is the hotel room. Nothing special. My little contraption I put up just to be safe. But it does have a fridge and a microwave. I am so tired, but I'm gonna try and get a little bit of detail. It's 1:55 in the morning. I finally got settled into my first hotel in Fredericksburg, Virginia. Whenever you plan anything, you have to always expect delays. So the airport is about an hour and 20 minutes. I'm gonna say about an hour away from my first two positions. So I just got the rental car and I booked a hotel closer to the position so I wouldn't have to drive a long time in the morning. So I just decided to drive, even though I don't like to drive at night to my hotel. And on the way in, about 10 minutes out, there was construction. So it ended up being like an extra 20 minutes just sitting in traffic. But I finally made it to the hotel. I checked in, and I got settled in, and I'm just gonna try and get some rest because I have to wake up at about 6:30, 6:45. Like I said, the first position, so Monday and Tuesday, I'm working in Fredericksburg, and the hotel that I booked is about 10 minutes away from that first position. So I do have a little wiggle room in the morning, and I'm super tired. I'm gonna probably switch hotels. I'm gonna check out on Tuesday, and after work on Wednesday, I'll check in Arlington, and then I'll update you guys on those rooms when I get there. Now this room is not like the nicest room, but because this trip is to maximize my the amount that I'm making, I just chose to go with like the bare minimum, basic, safest, cheapest hotel that I can find. So this hotel room, I want to say for 2 nights came up to about $125 for 2 nights. And then I got the rental car. The rental car is going to be $130 for the entire stay. So I booked it for Sunday, and I'll drop it off on Friday after my shift, and that was $126 and some change, about $130 for the rental car. And then I don't know how much the other hotels will be, but I will post all those costs once I check in and book those rooms. It is the morning of Monday. Today is my first shift in Fredericksburg. I should have brought my heatless curl little thingy, because I really don't want to have to redo my hair every morning. But now that I'm thinking about it, I think it's just puffy like this because I was on the airplane. So I probably shouldn't have to do this again unless I have like a really hot day at the office that I'm going to. And another thing to consider is that if I was back home and say I took a shift, and when I got to the shift it was like they didn't have what I needed, or the doctor was rude, or they didn't have air conditioning or something like that, I would just cancel the shift and go home. But here I'm in a different place and I don't really have that luxury to just pick up somewhere else, or you know, come home, or whatever the case. I just have to thug it out and just stay. So hopefully they have Cavitrons, some type of Cavitron, and you know what else I don't like? I don't like using the Nomad. I hate using the Nomad. I feel like I am way too close. And I know that little shield is on there that's supposed to stop like the scatter radiation, but standing right behind that and being right next to that just does not sit right with me. So generally, if I was choosing an office to work with, I would choose an office that didn't use that. Like, this is one office that I really like, that I temp at, and the doctor is really nice, and the pay is good, and the doctor always buys like lunch for the office and everything. But they use a Nomad, and I'm like, oh, I can never accept a full-time position with them because I cannot use the Nomad every day for year after year. I just can't. And you know, a lot of offices in Tennessee do not use the radiation badge monitoring, which is crazy because I know it's a requirement, and but you know, in dentistry people do all kinds of stuff. Like at my last position, well, at one of my positions that I worked with, my assistants would just freehand all the x-rays, like the PAs. They wouldn't use the rims, they would just hold the sensor in the mouth, and when I would catch them, you know, I would stop them and say, don't do that, you know, use the right thing. But they were still doing it, like, just for a year, been there. And I'm like, don't y'all know that the man who invented x-rays died of cancer of his hand because he was practicing on his hand too much? Do you want cancer? And they're like, what? But they're young. But anyway. The app that I'm using today is called Clipboard. And I like Clipboard because when you see a position, once you apply for it, you're automatically accepted. So I know on GoTo, you have to get approved. So it'll send out a message, and multiple people can apply, and they choose the person that they want to accept. Also with GoTo, you cannot see the office until you get accepted, until you get approved for the shift. So they will show you the zip code of the office that it's in, And then once you get approved, they will let you know what office it is. On Clipboard, before you accept it, you get to see the name of the office, the other hygienists that are working that day, the pay, and once you apply, you get accepted. You get accepted right away. So Clipboard, you have to turn on your tracking for Clipboard. So you have to allow them to track at all times. So they track you when you leave your house to see how far you have. If you're going to be late, they see when you get there, what time you clock your lunch. You have to do all of that. Whereas on Go2, you don't. At the end of your shift, they ask you, has anything changed? Do you need to change your time? And then you adjust it at that point. My first shift of the week in Virginia. I got my loops. Going to go to see what kind of breakfast they have. Probably get a coffee. I still look so sleepy and puffy, but I'll use just regular half and half, I guess.
This is my CRE, so I put them here. Okay. So we do have like these like little side column things, and then once they're ready, it'll just be like this like fluorescent green color. Okay. Yeah, like that.
And then do you want me to change it once I'm finished or after the doctor's done?
Yeah, it'll just be like the in-off one.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Good morning. Good, how are you? Hey, Dr. Diaz, I'm Monique. Nice to meet you. Monique. Yes.
Okay.
Nice to meet you. I just finished the first half of the shift at the first dental office on Monday, and it was very steady. Everybody showed up. Everybody was early. Everybody came on time. I ran behind on 2 patients waiting for an exam. But for the most part, I was rolling. I had to do a couple set of bite wing x-rays. They do 4 bite wings, 2 PAs. One thing I like about this office is that they have a new handpiece for each patient. They do use the Statum instead of like the big autoclave. They have a little Statum, and then they have their dental assistants do all the sterilization. I mean, I come in and I do my own, like if I, as I can, as I'm waiting, I'll do my own, but I was kind of in a way. No, you just keep this here, honey. You don't need to, I'll put this here, like basically telling me like, we got this, you just do you. So I had this kind of just be like, okay. But when you go new places, everybody had like this stigma about hygienists. They don't want to help and they think assistants are blah, blah, blah. So I just want to let them know, good vibe. They have me, a hygienist, and then they have another column, and I think it is an expanded duties dental assistant, and she just sees kids all day, 2 per hour. She had 2 each hour up until, I want to say, from 12 to 1. She had a block out for, I think it was like sealants and a cleaning or something, but she's doing sealants, child prophies all day. In my column, I have 1 hour per patient, and I don't have any scalings or anything like that on my schedule today. I've only had 6-month recall patients from 8 to 1. I left a little bit late, 20 minutes, because the last patient, she was upset that she needed a crown, and she was going back and forth with the doctor, and I had to stand there and wait for her to leave so I can clean my room and set up for the next one. And then I kind of helped her fully explain what the doctor was saying, because sometimes some patients don't like to hear it from the doctor for whatever reason. They feel like, it's easier to hear it from someone else, but I'm not really worried. They have a kava here. That's where I'm going to eat today. I'm going to get kava today for lunch. Okay. Food secured. I got a steak and rice. I am so excited because we don't have a kava. Oh, I miss my tinted windows because people can see all in your car. Okay, well, anyway, I got this lemon tahini sauce, and then I also got, oh wait, I think this one is lemon tahini, and this one, I can't remember, y'all. A dill, something dill, I don't know. But I got a lemonade, and what I do at Chipotle is I mix all of the lemonades, but they had like cucumber. I ain't gonna try all that. So I did the apple classic lemonade, and then I think the peach one. It's been so long. Last time I had kava, I was in New Orleans, and they closed Zoe's Kitchen, my favorite, and made it a kava. Okay. Oh, feta. Okay, I like this one. This sunroof go way too far back. It done got too hot in here. It's like a double. It's cute. It's very big. It feels like a bumper car. That's what it feels like. I'm in a bumper car. But I'm eating my lunch. I'm actually probably running behind because I left late. I got about 10 minutes to go. I am exhausted. I worked from 8 to 5 today, and we got off about 15 minutes early, but I left to lunch about 20 minutes late. My first patient after lunch came in late, 25 minutes. Good thing the next patient did not need an exam, so I got started on that one while we were waiting for the exam for the first one, and then I was finished with that one like 3:30, like way early. And then my last one came in early. Why do people do this? Why do y'all do this? The patient comes in, he's an hour early. First of all, he comes in an hour early, and he's like, I need to be out of here by 4:45. Just because you come in an hour earlier doesn't mean you're going to be seen any quicker. Unless there's a cancellation, there's still someone in that hour booking. So just because you're early doesn't mean we can just squeeze you in there. And then he was over a year and a half overdue for recare. So you need x-rays, you need perio charting. Who knows what your buildup levels are? And one of the assistants comes in the back, and she's like, hey, the next one is here, and he needs to be out of here by 4:45. And I told him you could probably get him back early because this one doesn't need an exam. And it's like, it doesn't matter. So I'm going to use that time to catch up on my notes, put in any treatment or anything that I left out, anything where I was behind. That's the time I'm going to use to do that. Set up my room, set up extra trays, get a drink of water, use the restroom. It's like, I don't have to be considerate of the providers. And same for the workers. If that's their scheduled time, you're going to say, and then how are you going to tell the patient, yeah, we can get you out of here? You don't know what's going on in their mouth, but you just don't know what's going on. They can need a lot of frequent breaks. They can need, all these different things. And then that patient needed bite wings, probing, medical history update, cleaning, and then the chair stopped going down. So I had to stand up for his cleaning. So it was a lot for that to be my last patient. Then the chair stopped working. I was just through. The Cavitron barely worked. And I came up with the conclusion that I never want to work full time again. Like, ever. Like, if this is something I'm going to do, temp, I'm going to do 1 week out of the month, I'll do a temp. and it'll be in a place where it is beneficial for me to go. So I looked at Nashville, where I'm already licensed. Virginia is another one, but I don't know if I don't know how much I'm going to be willing to continue to do, like the whole flight thing, the rental thing. All that stuff was so stressful. It was very doable and it was easy, but like I said, you have to always expect delays, because there was a delay for everything. Like my flight got delayed, so then I had to make sure the rental car was still open at a later hour for 2 hours later. And then when I got to the rental place, they asked for all this extra stuff that they didn't ask for when I booked it. And then I had a credit card, and my credit card wasn't activated yet. And then I needed to put a deposit on that credit card, but then I had to download the app, but then the app was taking too long. So I said, can I just use my debit card? So then they tried to scan my debit card 3 times, and it kept saying system error, system error, system error. And the last time she got the manager, and the manager's like, well, if we can try one other thing, and if this doesn't work, that just means we don't accept that bank. And I'm like, Lord, please, because if this doesn't work, I have no other option. What am I going to do? And thank God it just went through, and I was able to get the car. But, you know, just having to deal with all of that, I feel like I don't know how often I would actually enjoy doing that. I mean, it does help because it's just 1 week and the pay is really good. You're getting $72 an hour, $82 an hour, $84 an hour to work these shifts. But I don't know how long that's going to work. Like, it is fun and it is exciting, and I'm grateful that I get to travel and then see how other areas are doing what I do and how they do hygiene. So seeing it from a different aspect, seeing the different types of patients. But this is exhausting. I thought working assisted hygiene was hard, like physically and mentally. And I was working assisted hygiene. I was having 2 columns with a 3rd column for like Zoom whitening, add-ons, and those type of things. But I had an assistant, and she took x-rays, cleaned the rooms, set the rooms up. If I ever need anything, dropped anything, she went and got it for me. They scheduled the next appointment. What else? You know, those things. And even though I was seeing like 13 patients a day, when I do the 1 hour block patient and I'm doing everything on my own, I'm setting up the room, breaking down the room, sterilizing my own instruments, taking my own x-rays, perio charting on my own, doing notes, doing the exam with the doctor, walking the patient out, bringing the next patient back. Doing that 8 times a day is so mentally draining. And I'm not even doing insurance. Like when I was doing assisted hygiene, I was checking insurance, I was doing treatment plans and all of these different type of things. Here with the 8 patients per day, 1 hour block, I'm not doing treatment plans. I'm just putting in the information, and then the front desk handles that. Whatever's on the schedule, I just do it. But it is physically demanding. It's harder. And then if you run behind on one patient, you are very likely that you will run behind on every other patient until like lunchtime or until it's time to clock out. I don't know. It's just kind of crazy. And because too, I think with the 1 hour block, even though I'm finished before the 1 hour with my cleaning, I am still waiting for the doctor to do an exam. When you are temping, you don't really know how the doctor likes to be called. Some doctors have their own style of things. Like some doctors, you can just look in and peek in like 2. Some doctors want you to be more discreet and whisper it. Some doctors don't like, you just never know what you're going to get because you've never worked with this doctor before. So you can just be professional. I'll go in and I'll say, hello, doctor. I'm ready for you. I'm ready for an exam, or I'm ready for a 6-month recall exam. But then if that doctor is taking a long time and you feel like they forgot, you don't want to seem rude. You know, you don't know if this doctor's like, don't rush me, I'm coming, I got it. You don't know how they work. So you kind of just keep walking past like, hey, you know, not saying anything, but letting them see you. So they're like, oh yeah, I need to do the exam. But all of that is just mentally draining. So even though I'm finished and I have like 15 minutes left before my next one, I am still, it's like, I need this exam. You're trying to make sure that your patient is done. And then when your doctor comes late, so say the doctor does come in and you still have 10 minutes to get to until your next patient shows up. In 10 minutes, if she comes, or she or he, your doctor comes to do the exam, you have 10 minutes left. The exam can very well take 10 minutes, depending on the questions that the patient asks, the treatment, if they need any that needs to be discussed. So say, okay, it took 10 minutes. Well, now your next one is here, but now you have to clean up, you have to rush, you have to add in any extra note that your doctor talked about in those 10 minutes. So even if you put your note in already, you still have to go back and put in what the doctor discussed, or if anything was added or any treatment was added, to do a treatment plan. So then, even though you had that little break of 15 minutes, you've done all that you can do until after the exam. So you're still like anxious, like, okay, come on, I got to get on the ball, I got to get rolling for the next one. So having a 1 hour per patient is not easier than having an assisted hygiene 3 schedule, in my opinion. They're both hard. But I feel like having an assistant, it just kind of feels like you have someone to fall back on. So if you're running behind or you need a little extra help, you can just call on someone. Whereas when you just work in your own schedule, everybody else has their own thing that they're doing. So I don't think I ever want to work full time again. Like, I honestly don't think that I want to work full time. Like, I think I love these last few weeks that I've been working 2 days a week have been amazing. I've had time to be more present with my children and my family. I've been able to help my partner out more. He works night shifts, so he usually deals with everything in the daytime, like with the kids when I'm at work, like dropping them off and picking them up, because I'll still be at work. But then when I get home, it's like my turn. But by the time I get home, dinner is already cooked because the kids already got out of school around 3:30. I'm getting off at 5, so by the time I get home, I have leftovers, so I don't have to cook. So these past few weeks, I've been able to get up, make breakfast, pack the kids lunch, take the kids to school because he takes them. So I'll take them, you sleep in, or you deal with the puppies or whatever else he has going on, or we'll take them together and then we can go and run errands together, get something to eat. So it has just been so nice working 2 days and in between having time like off just to do whatever you need to do and still getting paid a decent amount. And that is what I love about hygiene. That is why I went back to school, so that I can have the option to work less and make more. And this is a very physically demanding, mentally demanding career choice. You cannot just go to work and not talk, not communicate. Like, if you're just not in the mood, you cannot just go to work and not speak to your patients. That's a part of your job, is giving oral hygiene instruction, updating medical history, talking about concerns, giving them positive feedback, saying, hey, this is what I see, you need to do this so this can be better. If you are a hygienist and you are just going to work and you are not talking to your patients, you're just cleaning them and walking them out and only answering a question if they have a question to ask, you're not doing half of what your job is. Because that is why dental hygiene was created by a doctor, to go into the community and give oral hygiene instruction. That was the reason why this role was created. So if you don't feel like, even when you're exhausted, even after seeing 5 patients, 6 patients, you're on that 8th patient, you are tired, you are exhausted. They're coming in, and this is their first, they're not tired and exhausted. They're coming in with all their questions. You're tired, your back hurts, you're sweaty a little bit, You haven't had nothing to drink. Your mouth is dry. You still hungry because you went to lunch late and you didn't even get to finish your lunch. Somebody got an attitude with you. This dental assistant is playing with you today. And your patient is going to come in like, hey, yeah, oh yeah, how have you been? Yeah, well, last time I see you. And you're going to have to be present and talk. And then if you have kids and you have a partner, you go home and your cup is empty, and your partner wants to talk to you about something, or your kids wants to tell you about their dad's school, or something needs to be done at the house, you cannot give your kids nothing. Give everybody at your job happy worker, and then get home and you're like, don't talk to me, I'm tired, be quiet, sit down, get out, give me a minute. It's just unacceptable. Like, that's unacceptable for me. So working full time is just not for me. And that lets me know I made the right choice by going back to school to do dental hygiene. Because as a dental assistant, you have a lot of the similar role, a very similar role. But you're helping a person, you're helping the doctor, you're assisting the doctor, but then you're also having to speak to the patients. You're doing more, you get paid less, and you work hard, and you have to come to work 5 days a week. Like, you're not, it's hard to maintain your bills depending on what kind of lifestyle you have as a dental assistant. If you are just working part-time, I just can't see how it will be a struggle. When I was a dental hygienist, when I was a dental assistant, I worked 40 hours a week, Monday through Thursday. I worked 10-hour days, and then I would pick up a Friday or a Saturday like every other week just to have extra spending money. And I was getting paid $19 an hour. And of course, as I got older, and I worked more, I got up to $26 an hour. And some dental assistants are getting like $30 an hour. But even at $26 an hour, it was a struggle having kids and real bills and car notes and car insurance and health insurance and food and all these different things. It was just a lot. So I'm going back to that office tomorrow, and I checked the schedule for tomorrow. I only have one new patient that needs an FMX, and now I'm thinking about it, I didn't check and see if they gave me an hour for the new patient or if they gave me more time, but I think they only gave me an hour for that one. I only had a couple bite wings. I think I had three bite wings for the day, one FMX, and all 6-month recalls and one perio maintenance. Being in Virginia, when I first got in there, I was a little nervous because I'm in a different state. So I'm like, what if hygienists in Virginia do things differently? What if it's, a different vibe? And then I got in there and I brought the patient back. And when I looked at my patient and I got to cleaning, I got to doing what my duties are, I was like, no, I know it's all the same thing. You're giving good care to your patient, and that speaks for itself. I'm good at what I do. I don't just play around. I don't waste time. And I'm very thorough. So I already knew, once I got in there and I was rolling. The jitters left. I was like, okay, cool. Well, I'm acting like I don't know who I am. Like, I am. Come on. So everything is pretty much the same. But some tips that I would give if you are temping in a different area. Before you go, find out a little bit about the area that you're in, because your patients are going to come in and need something to talk about. You know how like the general thing is, well, the weather is nice, to speak about the weather. Well, some patients are going to come in, they're going to talk about sports, they're going to talk about all different things. Just kind of Google things, common things to talk about in Virginia, in Arlington, or wherever you're going, just so you can kind of have like an idea. You're not clueless when your patients are talking about these different types of things, like current things that's going on in the area. I think that's something that's cool to do. It's a lot with temping, just like there's a lot with having a permanent position versus temping, or working in a corporate office versus a private practice. there's going to be pros and cons for each one. You just have to find what best aligns with you and what you're most comfortable with. And I'm still just kind of waiting to see what really works for me. I do like temping. I know I like to not have the commitment. But some days I don't feel like figuring out how you're doing it. Some days I don't have the patience to come in and deal with the rude assistant that wants to bully everybody because she wants to feel like she's in charge. Some days I don't want to deal with that. And then if you're temping, you're using an app, and that day you decide to tell that assistant off and be like, know your place. They could leave you a bad review, and then that could affect how you temp in the future. If you were in a home and you worked in a office full time or permanently, you can bring that up in a meeting, or you can discuss it so that it can be nipped in the bud. Whereas when you're a temp, you're like, well, I'm not going to be here long. You just deal with it. You go to work. You don't pay no mind to it. But some days I don't feel like dealing with that. All the office drama, it's like temping is supposed to be avoiding that. But sometimes you're just not going to be able to avoid that. Anyway, that's beside the point. But right now I'm just kind of filling it out. I am grateful for this experience, and I feel like I was supposed to have this experience. I'll be posting more of my traveling temping journey on YouTube and on TikTok, and I'll try and do little clips here and there on Instagram and Facebook. So let me know what you would like to know about temping and travel temping, and what you would like to see. Let me know what you want to see when I go to these offices. Like, do you want to see what kind of instruments they use or what programs they use? Just leave a comment or message me, and I'll try and get to that. Okay, thanks.